Here we are back with in Tompkins Hose with brothers Tony Piccone and Pat Kelliher. Tony, what kind of ranks have you held here in Tompkins Hose, firematically as well as on the administrative side?
Third lieutenant and second lieutenant, president, financial secretary, uniform secretary, and now for the past years I've been the appointed senior special advisor to the president.
And myself, I held the rank of captain, also had been a trustee and a member of the senior member on the warden's fund. I also now hold the title of the department safety officer in the department.
Also captain of the fire police.
Okay. Now you want to define what warden does?
Pardon?
What does the warden do?
We manage the 2% insurance monies for the city.
Okay, very good, very good. Have you guys, Tony, have you joined any other organizations outside of Tompkins Hose?
Firematically, a member of FASNing, happy to say a life member of the Hudson Valley, a life member of the Dutchess County Association, a life member of the Dutchess County Fire Police Association, I'm a life member of Tompkins Hose, a 50-year member of Tompkins Hose, a life member of Mase Hook Ladder, and a life member of Beacon Engine.
Wow.
I don't hold all them.
How about you, Pat?
Skills. I don't hold all them things. I'm a life member of, 50-year member of Tompkins Hose. Of course, my company, Mase Hook Ladder, I'm a 50-year member, and also at Beacon Engine. Was a member of FASNing a while back. I don't know what happened to it. I just let it slide.
It happens sometimes, you know. It happens. I see the history of the Beacon Fire Department. I guess Tompkins Hose, Mase, and City of Beacon. A lot of past presidents came out of here for the Hudson Valley, which I think is amazing since I'm a past president myself, I think it's up to 17, but when I look back in the early days, a lot came out of Beacon, So.
Beacon was very involved in the early days of FASNing and the Hudson Valley. When you look back, a lot of them served as president, secretary, treasurer. There was a long line in the beginning.
There was a tremendous participation from Red Flynn and John Way and them. And I think
Rush.
Rush Green,
Andy Pomerico.
And I think what happened is as we lost them, all those peripheral organizations and all those ties we had to all those kind of dissipated. I think Tony is probably the one solid tie we have, and everything I find out about comes from Tony and his efforts and with the organization. It's sad, and I'm part of the sadness. I mean, it's you just get doing stuff and staying away. And it was easy before when we had those guys because they took you. Come on, we're going up here this week. We got this up here. We're going to do it. We got this meeting. So it's.
What was it like? I don't know if you remember. Do you remember any Hudson Valley parades in the city of Beacon?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
71 and
Yeah, the 171 and
86.
86, 71 and 86. Yeah.
And what kind of, where would the convention center would have been?
Memorial Building.
Right next to Mase Hook Ladder,
Okay.
up Main Street. Right next to Mase Hook Ladder was convention center.
That's
Really heavy participation in the city from everyone.
A show on Friday night or
Yeah, we had the whole works
shows,
Thursday,
the whole
Friday.
works, yeah. The Mardi Gras parades.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And what kind of, how many companies would come to the parade?
I believe when we had
120?
120 in both 71 and 86.
Yeah.
They were about the same. In 86, I was the president of Tompkins Hose, but I was also John Way's secretary. He was the chairman of the convention committee, and I was his secretary. So I still have all the stuff at home from the '86 convention.
Amazing. That is amazing. Wow.
And it's sad because the city could the city could use something like that now. It just brought a lot of attention to the volunteer firemen, brought a lot of attention to the city, and people had fun.
It was a perfect place to march. Our Main Street is a perfect fireman's parade.
I mean, music just,
It's picturesque.
It is.
not only that, but the music echoes off the
Echoes off those
buildings, and it's
buildings,
just,
and,
it brings the hair on your arms straight.
Is there many hotels in the city of Beacon?
No.
Well,
Well,
did everybody stay there?
I shouldn't say that they are now, but they're called inns,
Yeah,
where there used to be
Airbnbs.
there used to be 3 big hotels on Main Street. Now we have an inn, we have another little inn on the other side, and up around the corner by that dummy light up there, we do have we have an end and 2 present hotels and buildings in the back there.
Now, how about the Dutchess County?
Well, in
Parade.
'86, we hosted the
Yeah.
Hudson Valley Convention because it was Beacon Engine and Tompkins Hose 100th anniversary.
Mhm.
In '87, we hosted the Dutchess County Convention because it was Mase Hook
Mase.
Ladders.
100th
100th anniversary. Dutchess County conventions, I really can't tell you how many we've hosted. I think
I-
we've hosted 7 Hudson Valley conventions.
Yeah, I think only one Dutchess County. And I
Dutchess
call
County
mine
that I can
50
recall,
years.
yeah. Was the one in '87.
Now, how about when you guys growing up as a kid? Let's say when you were 5 or 6. Do you remember any Hudson Valley conventions back in those days?
There were 2 in the '50s, I think.
Yeah. We had a lot of Darktown parades on Friday nights.
Yeah. Mardi
They
Gras.
call them we call them Darktown parades. They're
Yeah.
Mardi Gras parades.
Oh, okay.
Mardi Gras parades, yeah.
Something I learned
They-
today.
we had them just as the sun ebbed and it was dark outside. They called them, and everybody would dress up, but nothing formal.
No.
Other than a couple conventions in '57, I think, as a kid, I remember.
Remember one, yeah, yeah.
1957.
And the reason I remember is I grew up on Wilk Street, and that's where the parade ended, was in Memorial Field, so it went right by our house.
Wow. Is that field still there?
Fifty-
Yeah, it's still there.
Oh, yeah, 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 and that's where the parades ended.
That's
in-
where the parades ended. They would start up in the mountains, come down Main Street,
Mm.
and hook up and go up, right up.
That's when you had all
They
those.
they were good times. They were
Great
good
times, right?
Oh, they were great times.
Just a quick story. They allotted in '86, the committee allotted each firehouse 15 halves of beer.
Yeah,
And he says, Ralph Flynn said, had to last the weekend. Well, Tompkins Hose was the registration point, even though the meetings were held at the Memorial Building. So everybody came through Tompkins Hose to register, and of course, they all stayed to have a drink. And by, I think it was Friday night, we were looking for more beer. Maze's was looking for more beer because the convention was right next door to their firehouse at the Memorial Building, and everybody was going over to Maze's to drink. So by Friday night, we had to go get more beer.
I think we emptied out just about every bar. There were 60-some bars in Beacon at the time. I think we took a half from each one.
bars.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
it was a good time.
Now, today, nothing, right?
Nothing is right.
Now you go to a Hudson Valley convention, and you got to pay for the beer.
All right, guys, that was great. Great stories. Anything you want to add? What do you think is killing the volunteer fire service today, Tony?
Like we said, the amount of time of training you have to put in, you've got to be really dedicated to it. And like I said, the demographics of Beacon is changing. We're just not getting we're a whistle stop for the MTA, for people to travel to the city.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's hurt, and we're in a world where both people have to work, so there's a lack of time.
Pat?
All of those things we did. I mean, there's no lineage anymore. Even my dad was here. He was a police officer in town. He was a captain at Mase Hook Ladder, so I just followed the footsteps.
Wow. How about his dad?
His dad came from Ireland.
Okay.
Yeah. But my son, his grandson, as I said, he grew up, went to college, and gone they go. And Tony hit on the things that the demographics have changed in Beacon, and it's sad.
Now, how's the housing? Is the housing expensive here now?
Housing here is probably, if you were to, I'll give you an example. If you were to have bought a house 5 years ago for 250,000 and did nothing to it, you'll sell it for somewhere between 4 and 5,000, 100,000 today.
Wow.
The housing market here is blown out,
Yeah.
blown out.
A few weeks ago, I talked to a realtor and she only knew of 12 houses, single-family homes, available in Beacon. We now have $1 million condos on Main Street and on the river.
I know of a place, 1,000 square feet, 2 little bedrooms in a nice neighborhood that will fetch somewhere between $500,000 and $600,000. So that's the other issue that you look at in the city in terms of getting volunteerism. It hasn't hit the fire department.
They can't afford to live here.
If they live here, they're commuting
They
to
can't
work,
afford
and whatever money they made off of not paying high rent in New York, they can afford to live here, but that's about all they can afford to do.
And that's
Commute
about to change.
back.
They still got
Commute
to
back.
work.
Yeah, and so that's why you see the growth of the career staff in here. And it would not be surprising in the next ensuing 5 years to see the staff double its size. They're
Well, I
just,
see that. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just not coming in.
Yeah.
And you know, we talk about it all the time and we reminisce about it. The people we met, the friendships we made, the camaraderie we had with every fire company around that we dealt with, is just a priceless. It's a priceless thing, and that's going to be lost to the generations after us.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I thank you for your time and great stories and memories. Guys, stay safe and be good.